In this video, we will discuss about temporomandibular joint. It is a condylar variety of synovial joint. Articular surfaces of the temporomandibular joint, in the upper side, it is formed by articular tubercle, mandibular fossa and tympanic plate, whereas in the lower side it is formed by head of mandible. The articular surfaces are covered by fibrocartilage and the whole joint cavity is divided into the upper and lower compartments by this intra-articular disc. The ligaments of temporomandibular joint are as follows. These are fibrous capsule, lateral temporomandibular ligament, sphenomandibular ligament, stylomandibular ligament and pterygomandibular ligaments. The fibrous capsule is attached above to the articular tubercle, circumference of mandibular fossa as well as squamotympanic fissure, whereas below it is attached to the neck of mandible. This capsule is loose above the articular disc and tight below the articular disc. Capsule and neck of mandible are lined by synovial membrane. The lateral temporomandibular ligament is attached above to the articular tubercle and below to the posterolateral aspect of the neck of the mandible. It strengthens the lateral aspect of the fibrous capsule and its fibers are directed downwards and backwards. The sphenomandibular ligament is an accessory ligament attached above to the spine of sphenoid and below to the lingula of the mandibular foramen. It is a remnant of dorsal part of the Meckel's cartilage. It is related laterally to the auriculotemporal nerve, maxillary artery and lateral pterygoid muscle, whereas this ligament is related medially to the chorda tympani nerve, wall of pharynx, and in the lower part it is pierced by mylohyoid nerves and vessels. The stylomandibular ligament represents the thickened part of the deep fascia which separates parotid and submandibular salivary glands. It is also an accessory ligament attached above to the lateral surface of the styloid process and below to the angle and adjacent part of the posterior border of the ramus of mandible. Lastly, pterygomandibular ligament is attached above to the pterygoid humulus and below to the inner aspect of mandible just behind the third molar tooth. Having learned the type, articular surfaces and ligaments of temporomandibular joint, we will now discuss the articular disc. Articular disc is an oval, predominantly fibrous plate that divides the joint cavity into upper and lower compartments. The upper compartment mainly permits gliding movements, whereas lower compartment permits gliding as well as rotatory movements. The superior surface of the disc is concavo-convex, whereas inferior surface of the disc is concave. The periphery of the disc is attached to the fibrous capsule. The disc is composed of following regions: the anterior region, anterior thick band, intermediate region, the posterior thick band, and the bilaminar region, which contains venous plexus. The disc represents degenerated primitive insertion of lateral pterygoid muscle. The disc has following functions. It prevents the friction between the articulating surfaces, acts as a cushion and helps in absorption of shock during the movements. It stabilizes the condyle and it helps in distribution of the weight across the joint due to its wide surface area. The proprioceptive fibers present inside the disc help to regulate the movement of temporomandibular joint. The lateral relations of temporomandibular joint include skin and fascia, the parotid gland, and temporal branches of the facial nerve. The medial relations of temporomandibular joint are this middle meningeal artery, chorda tympani, and auriculotemporal nerve, spine of sphenoid with upper part of sphenomandibular ligament, and tympanic plate. The anterior relations of the joint are the lateral pterygoid muscle and mesenteric nerve and vessels. The posterior relations of the joint are the superficial temporal vessels, auriculotemporal nerve, part of parotid gland, and external auditory meatus. The superior relations of the TM joint are middle meningeal artery and middle cranial fossa, and the inferior relations are maxillary artery and vein. The blood supply of the temporomandibular joint are the branches of superficial temporal and maxillary arteries. The venous drainage goes into the maxillary as well as superficial temporal veins. The nerve supply of the temporomandibular joint are the auriculotemporal nerve as well as mesenteric nerves. The movements of mandible include elevation, depression, protraction, retraction, and side to side movements. In forward movement of the mandible, which is also known as protraction, the articular disc along with head of mandible glides forward in the upper articular surface, whereas in backward movement or retraction of the mandible, the articular disc along with the head of mandible glide backwards over the upper articular surface in upper or menisco-temporal compartment. In these movements, the mandible rotates around the horizontal axis. In slight opening of the mouth, as in depression of mandible, the head of mandible moves like a hinge under surface of the articular disc in the lower or menisco-mandibular compartment. In wide opening of mouth, this hinge-like movement is followed by the forward gliding of the head of mandible along with articular disc into the articular fossa. This movement occurs around the vertical axis passing through the head of mandible and posterior border of the ramus of the mandible. Reverse of this occurs during the elevation of the mandible. That is, first there is backward gliding and then there is a hinge like movement in the lower compartment. In side to side movement of the mandible, the head of mandible of one side glides forward along with the articular disc as in protraction, whereas head of mandible of the other side rotates around its vertical axis. For example, if head of mandible along with the articular disc glide forward on the right side, then there will be rotation around the vertical axis of the head of mandible on the left side. In this condition, the chin or the mandible will move on to the left side and there will be vice versa. Alternate movements of this kind of the two sides will result into the complete side to side movement of the mandible. Here, the mandible rotates around imaginary axis running along the mid-sagittal plane. Let us now discuss the muscles producing these movements. The depression is mainly brought about by the lateral pterygoid muscle in slight opening of the mouth, whereas in wide opening of the mouth, the lateral pterygoid is additionally helped by digastric, geniohyoid, and mylohyoid muscles. Elevation is mainly brought about by the masseter muscle, by the medial pterygoid muscle, as well as by the temporalis muscle. The anterior vertical and middle oblique fibers only are involved in the movement of elevation. Protrusion is mainly brought about by the medial pterygoid, by the lateral pterygoid, and superficial fibers of the masseter muscle. Retraction is mainly brought about by the posterior horizontal fibers of temporalis and deep vertical fibers of the masseter muscle. Movement of the mandible on the left side is produced by the right lateral and medial pterygoid along with left masseter and temporalis, whereas movement of mandible on right side is mainly produced by the left lateral and medial pterygoid along with the right masseter and temporalis muscles. During excessive opening of the mouth, the head of the mandible may slip anteriorly into the infratemporal fossa, which leads to inability to close the mouth. This condition is called as dislocation of mandible. Reduction of such dislocation is done by depressing the jaw with thumbs placed on the last molar tooth and at the same time elevating the chin. The dearrangement of the articular disc may result from the injury like in overclosure or malocclusion, which gives rise to the clicking sound and pain during the movement of the jaw. In the operations on and around the temporomandibular joint, the auriculotemporal nerve and the facial nerve should be preserved.